Hey guys, and welcome to today's AMA session. Now, usually we are joined by the Darwinex Zero CEO Juan Calan. However, today it's just me. So we're gonna firstly take a look at how to make the most out of your Darwin. And what I mean by that is, how do you improve using Darwinex Zero as a service outside of earning performance fees, gaining allocation, and all the benefits that come with having a Darwin or a Darwinex Zero account? Then we'll follow it up with an AMA session. I am running this stream on multiple platforms, so I'm hoping that comments come through from users from all different platforms. But if any questions do come through, I'll read them out before we go into detail on them, so that you can understand the context behind what I'm talking about. So to begin, my name is Kieran. I'm head of UK growth and business development for Darwinex and Darwinex Zero, and I run these sessions on a weekly basis. We do multiple sessions. We've just started sharing them to YouTube and X also. We have 2 sessions tomorrow. Again, we have a Darwin explanation where we go over the intricate details of a Darwin and what is a Darwin, how does it benefit you, and then we have a strategy development session after that as well at 5 p.m. UK time. Just had a message from Rob in the Discord saying, hey dude, I hope everything's all good your end. It's always good to see you. So for the people who may be new, or this might be your first time listening to somebody like me talk about Darwinex Zero, I'll give you a brief introduction as to who we are and what we do. So Darwinex Zero is the best platform to become a professional asset manager with zero risk. Now, I say zero risk because you don't have to put capital up front into an account to trade with. The only payment you will have is a subscription fee. We do also have a non-subscription model as well, which we'll go into a little bit later on, where you would have to connect your broker account. However, for the purpose of this, there's zero risk. There's zero risk to doing any more work, because all we ask is that you continue to trade and you just send us your trades. There's also zero extra effort on your behalf. You don't have to go out and network with investors. And you don't have to try and become a salesperson to grow your own fund. We do a lot of that groundwork for you. Secondly, we offer traders deep metrics into their strategies so that you can develop as a trader using our advanced strategy insights. Now, that's something that I'm going to touch on in a moment, and we can go into a little bit more detail about it. Like I say, I do strategy development review sessions every Thursday at 5 p.m. UK time. And this is really where our traders get the most out of our statistics, is when I'm going through them live. I do it for specific traders who are in the audience, and we kind of look at their statistics and different variables that they wouldn't necessarily look at on a daily basis when looking at a chart or macro cycles, etc. And then thirdly, we have one of the fastest growing communities in the trading space, full of like-minded traders who all see the long-term vision and who all want to become professional asset managers, not just short-term gamblers. So my favorite thing about Darwinex Zero is the insights and the trading statistics that we measure. They are different, and we have our own custom metrics that we built in-house. So you do get a different insight into your own trading strategy. But taking that one step further, I also think the most important thing about looking at your statistics is actually understanding yourself as a trader as opposed to your strategy. Me personally, and this is all my opinion, but your technical strategy is such a small variable of you as a trader, and you can't necessarily track every variable within, like your psychological variables by back testing or by forward testing or by looking at more charts. Sometimes we have to take a look at previous performance and understand, where do you go wrong? What is it that you do well? And we reflect on that from a non-biased or unbiased statistical perspective. And when I'm talking about that, it might seem a little bit mumbo jumbo to begin with, but we start looking at the trading sessions, the assets, the days of the week, what would happen if you entered earlier or later. We track all of that data, and we can help you analyze it to actually improve as a trader. Now, why that's really important is because, like I say, you're not looking just at one specific variable, which might be a technical chart or a footprint chart, or waiting for a specific bank to drop their latest interest rates for you to take a position. We're actually looking at what you do in real time as a trader. Does your own Does your own behavior get in the way? Does your own routine need tweaking? There's so much that we can take a look at, but often a lot of traders ignore on the pursuit to making money. So we look at your return versus your risk. Very simple metrics to take a look at. How much risk do you take to generate a return? It's very broad. You can't really do much with that until we get to the assets and timeframes and strategy analysis side of things. So we understand, okay, where are you now? What needs improving? Are you taking too much risk to generate your return? Are you not generating enough of a return? Or do you generally have a negative expectancy? That can then give us a good idea when we start looking at the assets and timeframes and days of the week that you trade, for example, and actually taking a look at the metrics on your strategy. It gives us an indication of what we need to be looking at and how we can kind of curate your strategy moving forward. For example, if you know that you trade far too often and you're giving too much back to the market, okay, well, let's take a look at actually when that is happening. Is it happening on a specific day of the week? Is it happening in a specific trading session? Is it happening on a specific asset? And what we can do is we can narrow down actually what you do outside of your technical variables, outside of everything that you're already looking for and already know. And we can start making adjustments on variables that you wouldn't have looked at. You know, for example, I know a lot of traders who struggle on a specific day of the week or a specific trading session. And when I do a personal review for them of their Darwin, I'm looking at it and I go, why not just take the afternoon off as an example? You know, you have generated a hugely positive return throughout the London session, and then throughout US and the Asian session, you generally give it all back. Why not do less work for more reward? And it's things like that that we take a look at and kind of having that unbiased perspective as opposed to looking at a chart, breaking your strategy down to one key variable, which might be a chart pattern or a specific amount of absorption on the ladder or whatever it may be. We're looking at real-time statistics on your behavior. That's one of my favorite things about Darwinex anyway. Now, we also have, like I say, a huge growing trading community right now. And this is just full of great people that I've had the pleasure to meet and speak to on a daily basis. Guys are all striving for the same thing, which is long-term success. They know it's not going to happen overnight. They know there's legwork to be done in the meantime. They know they need to try and improve what they're already doing and build upon what they're already doing, and the money will come down the line. Now, that's not to say people aren't getting paid right now. It's happening. People are making money day in, day out. However, you have to understand that this trading is not a get-rich-quick scheme. And, you know, our community is full of people who kind of see it in the opposite. We also offer a partner program to traders who have communities, and we have a member scheme as well, where we encourage our traders to bring their friends, their family, whoever they know that trades to Darwinex Zero, and we give you a free month subscription for every trader that you bring. But really, I think the key thing here is actually immersing yourself in a community that sees trading the same as you, not being in a toxic community where it's full of negativity or full of people who don't have the same visions, or, you know, even from a company that's not aligned with your success. Now, what I mean by that is Darwinex Zero wants you to succeed. We need good traders. We have our own hedge fund license, which should be going live very, very soon, where we fund our own traders with our own capital and with third-party capital. Now, when we're taking a risk with investing our own capital into traders, we need to know that our traders are good traders over a long period of time. So we actually have aligned interests with everybody who comes to us. We do not want to see you fail. And it's simple as that, period. So being in a community where you know that the traders are on your side, the company's on your side, you're there for growth, everybody will help you on your path. Even if you've got a question that, you know, you need answering within minutes, you can post it in the Discord and you'll get pretty much a response, you know, at least within 10 minutes for the most part. Now, again, I'm probably fleshing this out more than I had planned in my head, but I think it's all really, really important because the topic, before we get into any questions, is how to make the most of your Darwin. And one of the things that we released recently was our permanent allocations. Now, the reason this is really important to make the most of your Darwin is because if you're unaware of this, I mean, I don't know how you could be unless you're living under a rock, but we released permanent allocations, which is €100,000 allocation that sits on your account permanently. It will never be removed. even if you go into drawdown or however long you take, there's no time limits. There's nothing that you can do that will make us swipe your allocation away from you. So you can have it for years. You can keep earning performance fees as long as you're surpassing a high watermark basis on your account, of course, which is the same with any account that you may have. You would have to activate the add-on on your account. We have options with a growth target, and we also have an instant option. So the options with a growth target, what I mean is you can activate a 5%, a 10%, a 15%, or a 20% growth target. And from the point you activate that, it will take 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% in performance before it's allocated to your account. If you go with the instant option, from the point of activation, it's therefore on your account and you can earn performance fees on that. And as I said, it's 100,000 allocated to your account permanently, which really allows you to grow long term because you know that there is a stable allocation, which I'm going to get into in a second, the difference between the DarwinIA allocation and the permanent allocation. The permanent, it will be there month after month and it will never be taken away from you. On the other hand to that, we do have a program that encourages performance, and we pay success fees from that, which is our DarwinIA program. It has 2 tiers. It has silver and gold, or 2 different levels, whatever you want to call them. DarwinIA Gold currently has about 250 or 260 traders competing in DarwinIA Gold, and DarwinIA Silver has about 8,300. It's run as a monthly competition with a leaderboard, and the top X amount of traders will receive an allocation on a rolling monthly basis. I've just had a question from Rob. I'm going to hold off on that, Rob, for 2 seconds, and I'll come back to it in a moment. So as I was saying, it's run as a monthly competition. At the end of the month, your rating for your account will be finalized, and that will determine how much allocation you are given that month. Now, your allocations in silver last for 3 months, and they range from 30,000 to 325,000, I believe, off the top of my head, €1,000. And then in DarwinIA Gold, it ranges from 50,000 to 500,000, and will last for 6 months as well. So it's a rolling monthly competition, which means every month you can earn more allocation. After 3 or 6 months, it will drop off, but there's nothing stopping you from adding or accumulating the next month's DarwinIA allocation also. This does work in addition to permanent allocations. So already we have 2 ways for you to earn success fees whilst developing as a trader and immersing yourself into our community. Before we've even reached the pinnacle of success as a trader, which is gaining investor capital and third-party capital. So with that in mind, with Darwinex and Darwinex Zero, there's one common goal and one path to get to investor capital. That is trade, build your record, earn success fees on the way, and then eventually you'll be open to investors, and investors will be able to allocate capital to you. Now, the biggest selling point for you as a trader is your performance. So people ask me on a daily basis, what can I do to attract investors? Is there anything that turns off investors? Or I've had a drawdown of 5%. No investor's going to want that, which is ridiculous, by the way. The only thing an investor cares about is your performance. Simple as that. Manage their risk and provide them a return, and most likely they will be happy. The key thing here is that it's the same path whether you use Darwinex Zero or Darwinex. There's just 2 ways to pay. Darwinex Zero, you're going to pay a €38 a month subscription, and with Darwinex, you'll be paying in broker commissions. It's as simple as that. You would open an account with the Darwinex broker, deposit your own money, and you would trade your own live brokerage account just like you would with another broker, but you get access to DarwinIA, our investor marketplace, the Darwinex fund, and all of our strategy metrics and insights. So really, and I know I'm biased, but it doesn't really make sense to trade with another broker when you get all of that included with a Darwinex account or a Darwinex broker account for free. Like I say, if you don't want to risk your own capital, the path is the same. Pay €38 a month in subscription fees. At the moment, we are also running a discount which is valid on 1 month, 1 year, and 3 year subscriptions, which is DWX10. With a 3-year subscription, this will give you 10% off, sorry. And with a 3-year subscription, you'll also receive a €200 coupon that you can put towards any permanent allocation. So that's to cover the value of a 15% growth target. But if you wanted the instant allocation, you would get the €200 off of that instant allocation also. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a member get member scheme where you can earn a 3-month subscription for every trader that you refer, which is really important because not many people are aware that we have this. It's open to anybody. As long as you have a Darwin, you're open to the member get member scheme. And before we move into the AMA section of the session, there's also something that's really important to talk about, because I don't think many people understand that we have this functionality either. And that's the fact that we allow traders to invest into their own strategies through the Darwinex Investor Marketplace. So you could be trading with your Darwinex Zero account or your Darwinex account and be open to investors, and you can actually invest also into other Darwins or into your own strategy and leverage that up 1, 2, or 3x, so that you're playing both sides of the field, where you're the trader and you're also the investor too. Like I say, not many people know or are aware that we have that function, but we do. And you can also build a portfolio of Darwins too, so you can have your own kind of little fund running, which is really fun. We also have a demo version of that too, so you can build demo portfolios. You can invest into Darwins on a demo basis. So again, you're not risking any of your own live capital. Now, with that being said, that's the kind of last of the session. I didn't want to spend too much time going into that sort of stuff because I really like when you guys ask questions. Unfortunately, I can't see the chat from YouTube again. Today, it's not working. I'm not sure why. I think YouTube's struggling with their chat functionality at the moment. There's a question or two in the Darwinex Discord, and I'm just going to check Twitter as well to see if we've had any questions through there. But don't be afraid to pop any questions in. These sessions are nothing without you guys, and I would rather stand here answering questions. So Rob's asked, what is the Tradosaurus Rex thing? I'm a member in Darwinex Zero. This is Trading Tribes. So this is something that we've just released. It's kind of gone out in like a beta phase, if you will, which is where, let me show you. I'll bring it up on the screen so that you can see it. Just going to swap the screen that I'm sharing. Okay, so this is Trading Tribes. So what it does, let me find yours, Tradosaurus Rex. This is for our partners and traders. So our partners who have shared their referral code in the past will receive a tribe. So for example, Tradosaurus Rex is a trading tribe, and you're a part of it because you use the link from that partner to sign up to Darwinex Zero. Now, what's really cool about this is that, for example, this is Albert Burgess's tribe. You can take a look at all of the traders that Albert has referred to Darwinex or brought to Darwinex. You can see their statistics. You can see how much AUM that they have as a tribe. So you can see as of right now, there's been 1.5 million euros in AUM gone to Albert's tribe or to Tradosaurus Rex. And in total performance fees, there's been 11,836 euros paid out to any trader that's gone through Alb. Oh yeah, Trader Summers. Is this your new account? Error. Let's go back onto that. Is it SPWL? SPWL. I presume this is the Darwin that you shared yesterday. That's looking good, Rob. Yeah, it's looking solid. I'm proud, man. You took some time to reflect on what you were doing. I believe you've turned this into sort of a swing strategy. It's looking good, man, compared to your old Darwin. So my hat's off to you, dude. Keep it up. What I'll do as well is I'll have a proper look into your Darwin and into the metrics of that, and I'll give you some feedback too. But but that's overall, that looks like you've had a solid start. And your 147th, you've got 30,000 euros in allocation. I presume you'll get another 30,000 euros at the end of March. So really well done. I'm proud of you. But yeah, so that's to answer your question. Tradosaurus Rex is one of the trading tribes that we have, and it belongs to Al. You can see over here, tribe trends. So total DarwinIA allocation has been 4,050,000. Currently, there's 1.5 million, and it shows you who has the best score in DarwinIA. Okay, a few other different things. I didn't know that it was getting released to everybody so suddenly, so I wasn't expecting a question on the tribes, but that's effectively what it is. Rob's also asked, how long does the discount on the allocation last? Are you referring to the DWX10 discount, because that's just for the subscription plans? If you're asking about if you bought a 3-year plan, you get a coupon which you can use whenever you want. Mr. T has also asked in Discord, does correlation to another Darwin that one might be running affect the permanent allocation in any way? I know you have to be wary of keeping it below the 0.95 in the chase for DarwinIA allocations. Okay, so interesting question. Correlation doesn't matter when it comes to permanent allocations, although it does with DarwinIA. The reason being for that is because DarwinIA allocations, obviously, if you're running a really high correlation with somebody else, effectively we're just doubling up risk with the money that we allocate to those traders. You may as well just allocate it to one trader as opposed to both of them. So that's why it's in place with DarwinIA. But with the permanent allocation, you've paid for that allocation. It would be unfair for us to then say you're not getting paid because of correlation. So we do have some traders who have done that, set up separate Darwins and bought a permanent allocation on each one. The only issue is if you do have correlation, you're only going to be earning money from permanent allocations. You're not going to get DarwinIA, which would be a shame. And effectively, you'd be paying double the cost each month because you'd have 2 subscriptions. You'd have to pay for the permanent allocation twice, but you still wouldn't get the DarwinIA. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that. Unless you can keep your correlation under the threshold, then maybe it's worthwhile if you trade slightly different on both different accounts. My pleasure, Rob. Wow, solid work, man. I'm really impressed, Rob. It's brilliant. Yeah, I'm gonna have a proper look into that later on, I think. And Mr. T said, understood. Plan on purchasing one permanent allocation and varying my other Darwins. Got ya. How many Darwins do you have right now? It's been a while as well, dude. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a chat. It'd be good to see you next time I'm down in London as well. It'd be good to meet up. I spilled my drink all over myself. Robo has asked any updates on TradingView integration. In terms of updates, no. The only thing that I can say or will say is that TradingView is coming, but it's likely not going to be anytime soon. What I mean by that is, you're probably looking another few months away yet. So even though we say it's coming soon, soon to us is because we've been working on it for that long that even a couple of months away still feels like soon. I'm gonna hazard a guess that it's going to be the second half, if not later, into 2025. So don't expect anything kind of right now or suddenly. We've got a few different things that are planned to be released first. So our boosters, including monthly payouts, and secondary, maybe tertiary allocations. That's kind of next on the agenda. But TradingView, obviously, there's 2 companies there trying to collaborate. So there's so much that needs to go on the back end, that it's just a huge task. But hopefully that can be second half of 2025. If it's any sooner, then fantastic. Mr. T said he's got one calibrated, another finishing in 2 days, and calibrating a Darwin on the classic side, which will finish calibrating on the 31st of March. So I'll be running 3. Interesting. How come you did one with classic and 2 with Darwinex Zero? It's just me being nosy, by the way. It doesn't really matter. Good question. Just waiting for a couple more questions to come through on Discord. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to check X to see if there's anything through on there. Running slightly modified positions on my Darwinex Zeros and seeing how they differ, but will likely chop one and run the other with my classic Darwin. Okay, interesting. So using Zero as kind of a playground or a sandbox, if you will, which is really a great way to do things, I would say, is yeah. So using your Zero account, or a Zero account at least, it's a great way to, like I say, sandbox trading ideas, understand what you do well as a trader in terms of your routine, your behaviors, any patterns that you display, and really understanding what works well and kind of doubling down on that, because you might find that things that you thought, or a strategy that you thought was a great strategy, might actually not be when you look at the metrics behind it. The best example for that I can give is if you look at the max capacity for a Darwin. So let me Darwinex, take a look at SQZ. One of the metrics that's really interesting, because I always say when we do the strategy development sessions, I always say this is something that is never a problem until it becomes a problem, which is your max investment, or alpha cap as some people know it as, which basically measures the toxicity flow going through your trading strategy, which would determine how much capital that you can take on from an investor. Now, if you have spent 5 years developing a trading strategy and you've only ever traded on demo accounts or funding companies, which effectively are just demo accounts, and then you come to try and trade it live and you trade it on Darwinex, but you realize, or the metric tells you that you can only manage $100,000, is that strategy good enough to take you on a career to become a professional asset manager? Probably not, because you're going to top out $100,000, and believe me, I've seen some that are that low. And if let me jump onto it so that you can see what I'm talking about. Max investment on a Darwin here. So you can see this one has the max investment of 19.5 million. That basically means that this trader can manage up to 19.5 million before their investors are going to start seeing different results. So investors might start getting slipped, or spreads might widen because they're trying to clip off almost 20 million, at the market at any given time of a trade. And the market might not be able to induce that size of volume. And so my point here was, it helps you see what's going to work long term. If you're trading something, performance is great, but then, like I say, you jump on here and it says you're going to be capped out at 100,000 or 200,000. You know there's work to be done to make an actual career out of that trading strategy. While I'm looking at this, what was your Darwin again, Rob? Oh, Rob's gone. I was going to take a look at. Can't remember what it was. SPWL. Darwinex Zero. Another interesting feature that you guys might not know that we have is that you can actually view your Darwinex Zero Darwins on the Darwinex platform. I'm saying Darwinex too much, so I apologize. But if you go onto Darwinex.com and then you log in using your Darwinex Zero login credentials /Darwin / your 4-ticker Darwin again 4-ticker Darwin symbol. And then put a hashtag, search, and it will show your metrics on Darwinex.com, where we have a lot more things that it measures. So I was just going to check Rob's capacity because he's swing trading. So generally it's higher for swing traders. Max investment 23 million. Okay, fantastic. So we've had a question on Discord from John. I have a 30k Darwin allocated account. My signal account is 100k. The profit is calculated fairly. If the profit made on a 100k signal account is reduced because I have a 30k Darwin allocated amount, is the drawdown also calculated and reduced at the same way the profit is calculated? Yes. Okay. So this is actually quite a common question. Is the differential between the signal account of 100k and then the trade size that's copied over to your allocated amount. So the answer to this, I'm going to try and explain it in the simplest way possible. Your $100,000 account or your $1 million account, depending on which account type you use on MetaTrader, the only job of that account is to send the trades to Darwinex. The proprietary risk engine then looks at your trades and will adjust your position sizing for 2 factors. One, your value at risk. So if you're trading higher than a 6.5% value at risk, your trade size will be tuned down. If you're trading lower than 6.5% value at risk, your trade size is going to be increased. However, if you've only got 30k in allocated capital, it's already going to be chopped in by third. So let's say you're trading a 1 lot, for example, on your $100,000 account. If you've got 30,000 on your Darwin, it's only going to be trading 0.3 lots because of the capital differentiation. At that point, it's then going to go through the risk engine, and the risk engine is going to look at your value at risk, and then it's going to decide on the second step, are we increasing this trader's size or are we decreasing it based on how much risk they take? But to answer your question, is the drawdown also calculated and reduced? It is 100%. It's the same, like whether we're looking at return or drawdown, it's always going to be slightly different because your trades are going to be adjusted. So yes, it is done in the same way that the profit is also calculated. Like I say, effectively your job is to send trades. The trades go through the proprietary risk engine. Those trades are then reflected at Darwin level with a new position sizing. Fair. So yeah, it's quite. I mean, I've kept that quite simple. Usually, I tend to overcomplicate things, but you just have to remember there's two ways that the risk engine is going to alter your size. First one is based on the amount of allocation that you have. For example, if you had $1 million in allocation or investor capital, obviously your size on your Darwin is going to be increased by 10 because you're taking a trade on a $100,000 account, but it's replicated to $1 million account, with investor capital, Darwin your allocations, whatever it may be. So obviously it's going to trade 10 times the size. But then it might go, oh, well, this guy's operating at a 13% value at risk level, so we need to cut his size in half. So then that would then be cut in half. So it might be copying at 5x the risk, if that makes sense. I hope I haven't confused you with that second bit. Mr. T, I did answer that, but I'm happy to answer it again. So in terms of updates, there's no update or ETA as of right now. It's something that we're working on, but there's things that are going to be released first, because obviously we're working alongside TradingView. So there's a lot of kind of collaboration and joint effort that needs to take place to get there. I'm going to hazard a guess, but please don't quote me on it, that we're looking the second half of this year, maybe Q3, potentially Q4 of this year. We always say it's coming soon because we've been working on it for that long, that even a quarter or half a year away still feels soon to us. And so, yeah, I'll obviously keep everybody up to date, because it's probably the most frequently asked question that I ever get. And so, yeah, it's just a hell of a lot of work for both parties, both TradingView and Darwinex. And the reason why it's so difficult or so intricate is basically due to the fact that we have the risk engine. So TradingView obviously doesn't have the functionality to accommodate for the risk engine just to execute positions. So if you execute on TradingView, it just executes a trade, right? Whereas we've kind of curated and built everything for MetaTrader. So we basically need to build the functionality so that the risk engine would work on TradingView. I'm not one of the engineers behind Darwinex, so I don't know how that's going to work. I just kind of hear through the grapevine, and I'm like, okay, it sounds way out of my league for all my knowledge. I just get told, it's coming soon. I can't wait for the day we release TradingView. Mainly because I get to say to people when they ask, it's already live, it's already launched. Exactly that, dude. I'm just happy to be here and trade. I don't need to know how it all works on the back end. Just take my orders, replicate it, and I'm happy with that. Just realized I'm still in a trade also. Right, just waiting for a couple of questions to come through on Discord. Awesome, dude. You look after yourself. I'll catch you in a bit. I think people thought I was closing down the webinar. Then it was in response to Mr. T. Okay, so Dennis has asked, will there be an increase in the permanent allocation amount? I presume you mean the amount of capital that you can get in permanent allocation. I presume that's not what I presume that's what you mean. And if that's your question, then we're going to be releasing what we call boosters soon, which is something that you can activate. Some will be temporary, some will be permanent. So you can have a permanent booster or a temporary booster. I don't have all of the final details yet to give you an exact amount that will provide in terms of increasing your permanent allocation, but we will be able to, or you will be able to, increase the permanent allocation on your account, whether it's temporary or permanently. That just depends on the booster that you get. No problem. Right, I'm going to call it a session there, guys, because I think we've exhausted all the questions. And when I said goodbye to Mr. T, a few people left the session. So we'll call it a session here. We have the Darwin explanation tomorrow at 4 p.m. UK time. And then we also have the strategy development session at 5 p.m. UK time, which is a really great session. And if you can make it to that, it would be fantastic. I go over somebody's Darwin. So generally, if you're in the Discord, I usually pick somebody from our Discord audience. I'll do a deep dive analysis on their Darwin. We'll take a look at patterns, take a look at their behavior, what they've been doing, what's working well, and what could be improved. And we kind of take a holistic approach at looking at improving their trading strategy. So if you can make it to that, it will be absolutely fantastic. Guys, I'm going to love you and leave you all there. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will catch you all later.